Hello, welcome back to Squint and its Mint. Yeah, I now started doing intros. I'm going to do intros to all my vids. I need to be a little bit more happier in this one, not sounding quite so down. It's hard sometimes, because you're just doing stuff and you know I'm going to record something. But no, this is it. Okay, right. This used to be a tool showroom. I was selling tools, and these are all the racks up around here that I had the tools laid out on. And with COVID and whatever, hardly any sales were going through, so it's pretty much ground to a halt. So I've decided to reclaim this as the Squint headquarters. This is now the Squint office. I got this big welder set up in here, is over here, TIG welder set up over there, and then sort of what do we call them, consumables and whatnot on the shelves. I found that keeping them in the shed with the cars, that things were getting dusty, ruined, wet, damaged. So it's much better that they're in here, and I can sort of set myself up outside as well to work on stuff out of here. I quite enjoy that. Anyway, on with the video, or about the video. Before I do that, I would just like to ask for your subscriptions and your likes and your comments. We've only been going a month. I think a month, 2 months, 2 months. We've got about 7 videos up. They seem to be getting quite a few views, a few likes, and we're up to a wholesome 77 subscribers now. Obviously, we want to get into the thousands. We've got aspirations for the channel. There's things we want to do with it. We've got lots and lots of projects. So I'd really appreciate your support by giving us your subscription. Okay, this video is, the last one was the painting of the interior, which is, got good feedback, looks good, happy with. And then the step from that was to paint the engine bay. But before I did the engine bay, because the top of the wing had cracked paint on it, I didn't want to paint the engine bay and then later on have to go and use chemicals like paint stripper on top of the wing, because there's always the risk of that affecting your new paint that you've just done in the engine bay. So the first part of the video is me prepping or investigating what's gone on with the top of the wing, and then once I've got all the paint off the top of it, I go in and it's the prep and the paint, getting it all up and into the final top coat. So I hope you enjoy it. So I've got all the gunky, rusty, preventative stuff out from under there, and got the rust converter on there, and I'm just looking at the steps that we're going to go to next. That paint's just flaking off there. Struggling with the light again. So I thought I'd just see what's going on up the top here. The filler's cracked. So rather than just DA off this wing to repaint it, I think it's got to be stripped. But if it is filled, it's only very light, so it shouldn't take too much of an effort to strip it, and there shouldn't be too much prep work involved in getting it ready for painting. It's got this hard as nails filler in there, same stuff we found on the bonnet, which sort of makes sense. I'm going to try it with a DA and an 80 grit first to see how thick it is. I think it's just really just a skim on there, because this is, I think, the original colour down there. You can see how it's cracked down to the metal, so it can't be that thick. A very quick buzz with the DA. So you can see that filler a second ago, and then we've got the original paint there, and then I guess the original primer, and then down to metal. So This also, I think, is original paint there, which is obviously cracked. And I think that's the way to go with this, is to paint strip it down to this hard filler, which won't be affected by the paint stripper, and DA the rest of it off. Ready to prime now. Get the epoxy on the bare metal areas, but before I do that, because we're going to use the wing rail as an overlap, paint the engine bay, mask it off, then go for the outside, and this will be the overlap. I'm going to have to strip the top of this wing off, because I don't want to be using chemicals near this paint in the engine bay after it's been painted. It's just asking for an accident. So before I prime any of this or get into the painting, I'm just gonna run all this paint off. Probably a combination of paint stripper to start with to get the paint off, and then DA or maybe a bit of heat to just to strip the top of the wing. The rest of it we can deal with later. This is the original paint. See the filler cracking off it. A little bit of nastiness here, some rust. So we'll see what happens when we get this off. So it's a dent, and it's got, I don't know, a good 3 mm. Well, I've already taken a good chunk of filler off with the DA, and what's left in there is still a good 3 mm. So I'm just using the gas to just very lightly warm that up, and then just softens it to pull it out. See what other hidden gems we have. Get this area out, because I suspect it's a large dent. Can't really feel much from the inside. Can feel this here. Literally very light flame. Just lifting it off. Just enough to make it go soft. Not burning it off. I'll carry on with that and we'll report back later. I think they say it could be a lot worse. It's a bit low in here, just particularly there. It's sort of feathered out a long way, so clean it up a bit more and get a straight edge on it. Maybe do a bit of bumping to push it out, flatten it out a bit. Right, we're masked off now. Stop all the overspray getting in and on everything. All the holes are plugged. The bulkhead. That's all scotched off. I'm just going to run over it with some silicone off stuff I have here. There you go, silicone off. It says it on the can, so it must be silicone off. Max. And then into paint. I was only going to just cover up the bare metal with the epoxy primer, but I mixed up a bit too much, so instead of wasting it, got it on a bit more than just the bare metal. So pretty much all the engine bay now is in epoxy. Won't be around for long. I'm just about to mix up 2K primer and do a couple of 3 coats of that. So let's see how that goes. That's hard work though, trying to get in all these nooks and crannies, dragging the airline across the paint, and or trying not to, and failing. Let's see how we go with the 2K. I guess I'm sort of without words because it's quite hard work. I'm tired, but that is 2K primer on there. Doesn't look too bad in this light, but I think there's a few sags and runs we'll have to take care of, but we'll let this flash off, cure, harden, whatever you want to say, overnight, and then come back in the morning and flat it off. Ready for the top coat of Venetian red. Next day, time to flat it down. I'll put a light guide coat on, grab the 320 paper and flat it down, and as with everything on this car, it's all dry, no water at all. Very light guide coat on there, just a dusting of flat black, matte black aerosol. And if we take all that guide coat off, we should all be at the same level. For breakthrough, I've got some 1K epoxy primer, grey, that we can do any spot repairs with on breakthroughs. And I don't have to mix up paint again. So I've done up the top of this inner wing, top of that inner wing, and the fiddly area around the top, and obviously the boob. I'm just going down the bulkhead now, just using, you can see that, that's just 320 dry, cut up in various strips to be able to get into the smaller areas. I've also got an old maroon Scotch Brite and these sanding sponges. These are quite good because they allow you to just get into the little indentations. If you sort of do a bit too much with sandpaper will break through. These will just allow a bit more cleaning up, a bit more compliant. A couple of breakthroughs there is not a problem because it's not through to the metal. Can't really see that one there a little bit. So I can just splash those with a bit of 1K primer, 1K epoxy primer. It's about it's a good couple of hours so far to do this. I'm not in any hurry. I'm not using any machines or any particular force, just very lightly sanding it so it becomes sort of level, uniform, like this. These welds, you can just get the Scotch Brite and just clean into them. I've now finished with the 320. A couple of little rub through areas. Use this here. This is the PPG. As it says on the tin, 1K epoxy rub through primer. So in all the little areas, and there aren't many, little areas where they're just broken through to the metal, I'll just put a squirt of that on there, and then I'll rub it down with wipe, the silicone removal stuff, and I think mix the red up and go for it. There we go. There it is, engine bay in red. Even though under the light it seems a bit orange. Let's just flick that off. Yeah, Venetian red. Yeah, pleased with that. So that's the engine bay done. Now we need to get it rolling again. Engine wiring loom in first, engine up in it. Get it all fired up. Just painted the driver's door hinges, which will allow us to put that door on. Line them all up. And then once it's rolling, driving, you drive it to the paint booth and just do the bottom, I don't know what you call it, the belt level. Vinyl roof is here, courtesy of, well, not courtesy because I'd pay for it, but Aldridge trimming, and the headlining also from Aldridge trimming. Recaro seats are ready, back seats are ready, carpets up there somewhere on the shelf. So now it's a case of about, I don't know, 10 days of assembly before it goes in the booth at the end of the month, and then on to Buriram for the classic, I don't know what, that's not the classic revival. We're going to run this car there. Okay, so that was it. The engine bay was painted. As you can see, I still haven't done anything at the top of the wing. We found some damage here, so I've got to do some filling on. But it's a lot easier now to manage this area. Engine's back in. We've done some custom bits for an aircon shroud for the condenser and the electric fan in there. So there'll be a separate video for that on how to fabricate the aluminium sheet, because that's all done with hand tools. It's all done with you know, a vise and angle iron and you know, slapping it with bits of wood, which is always fun. Yeah, as you can see, the engine's in, and we're building up the interior. I've got some new shocks on. There's another video that we'll release for fitting the shock inserts. These are the gas ones. See the box there? The rears aren't in yet, but the fronts are in. But yeah, I think at the end of the video I said we were pushing now to get the car ready for a classic revival event at Buriram race circuit, and unfortunately I pulled out of that because of the regulations for COVID injections. We've only had our one, or had at that time, our one Modena, and that wasn't acceptable to the organisers, so we decided to pull out. So now things are taking a little bit of a slower pace. We can take a little bit more time and get the car a little bit more 100% ready. I reckon that if we'd had it there, we could have done it, we could have got it there, but it probably, you know, would only have half an interior, the vinyl roof may have not been on it, you know, it wouldn't have all the trimmings and all the bells and whistles that we wanted it to have. But not to worry, there's plenty of other opportunities, and yeah, like I say, we can take our time with it now. Please, please, please like and subscribe. It'll help us get more exposure for our channel. It'll help our ranking with YouTube. So apparently you're supposed to do a ring a bell thing as well. That'll give you the notifications when we do our videos, and they're likely to be coming out, if not weekly, bi-weekly, just depending on how progress and work and whatnot goes. Thanks for watching.